Welcome to the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast, where guys that want to build muscle come to learn how to do it properly. We understand that there's more to building muscle than mindlessly throwing weights around and chugging mass gainer shakes. We're not interested in quick fixes or anabolic assistance. We're interested in mastering the art, science and skill set required to stack on real muscle and strength. My name's Andy Clements, and for the last 12 years I've devoted my life to figuring out how guys like us who don't have amazing genetics, don't have 5 hours a day to spend in the gym, and don't want to take steroids as a shortcut can build insane amounts of muscle and strength in weeks and months, not years and decades. This podcast is the result of all the lessons I've learned along the way, and it will give you the blueprint to building more muscle in less time. To get you started, head to www.musclebuildingmastery.net to download your free 6-week workout plan. Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Andy Clements. Welcome back to another episode of the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast. It's another beautiful day here. I hope it's a good day where you are, wherever you are in the world. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about supplements. So this episode is going to be called my top 3 supplements for building muscle. And I'm going to share the 3 best supplements that I've figured out over the years are probably, in my opinion, the most effective ones, because I think the issue that we have a lot of the time with supplements is there's such a high degree, I'm going to talk about this more in a minute, it's such a high level of marketing and branding involved in supplements that it can be hard to sort of know what is hype and what is legit, you know, like what is actually worthwhile spending your money on and what is just like, you know, flavored water. So that's what I'm going to try and give you guys a bit of an insight into in this podcast episode, because I used to spend like hundreds and hundreds of pounds on supplements every month. Like in the first maybe 3 to 4 years, maybe even the first 5 years I was training, like I put a massive degree of importance on supplements. And I mean, we're on like episode 46 or something, and this might be the first time I've ever mentioned supplements on the Muscle Building Mastery Podcast. So you can tell that I don't view it with that level of importance anymore, but I used to put a massive level of importance on supplements because I felt like I needed the right concoction of supplements. I needed to spend the right all the money that I had on supplements to be able to get the results that I wasn't getting with my physique at the time. So I used to spend hundreds. And what I ended up with was an empty bank account because I was spending all my money on supplements and no extra gains, really, like nothing. I was ending up with no extra muscle, no, you know, in proportion to the amount I was spending, it was there was like no real difference in my physique. I could not have like shown you a measurable change in my physique from everything I was taking supplement wise to, like, you know, as opposed to when I just cut everything out and just saved my money. So over the years, I began to sort of figure out what worked, what was worthwhile taking in terms of supplements, and what was an absolute waste of time and money, and made no difference to my physique, no difference to my health, no difference to my mood, no difference to my energy, and it was just a complete waste of time and money. So that's what I kind of figured out. I figured out that most supplements, like I'm talking most, like more than 50% of supplements on the market right now, are just overhyped, flavored water, right? And yes, do they have ingredients in them? Of course they have ingredients in them, like they have to comply with certain regulations or what have you. But in terms of actual measurable results, actual like you being able to get what you're paying for, which is, you know, an extra few percent of results, an extra bit of strength in the gym, an extra bit of muscle, better sleep, whatever you're paying for. Most supplements that are out there are completely useless. They are flavored water. They're just hyped up with massive amounts of marketing, massive amounts of like branding, bright colors, sexy flavors, you know, and a lot of them do taste really nice. It's like having a cocktail, right? It's like having a muscle building cocktail. Although most of it's not muscle building at all. It's just flavored water. But they I think some of these companies put more effort into the branding and the marketing of the supplement and the flavouring and making it palatable and stuff, because that's what sells, than actually making the supplement useful, valuable, and something that's going to give you extra results. So that's what I ended up realizing as I progress along muscle building journey. And I think everybody comes to a certain point when they start realizing that about supplements. Now, this isn't me bashing supplements. Like, I'm making a podcast to give you recommendations on supplements. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying don't ever spend a penny on supplements again because the supplement industry is evil. I don't think that. I think that there's a lot of supplement companies that take advantage of people's lack of knowledge out there, and use these like really in-your-face branding and marketing campaigns and take advantage of the fitness influencers that are like paid affiliates and brand ambassadors or whatever it is for different supplement companies, and they all get a cut of every sale, And I'm not going to give you a discount code on this podcast. I don't have a supplement to sell at the end of this podcast. I don't have any interest in that whatsoever. I just genuinely want to, like, I'm not going to recommend a brand. I don't have a favorite brand of anything. So you can, like, I'm being legitimately transparent with this. I'm going to give you the ones that I've figured out have been useful for me and the clients that I've given or recommended them to, should I say. And it's then up to you whether you want to go and try them or not, But my aim with this podcast is, if you're taking a massive concoction of supplements like I was, and you're spending hundreds of pounds or hundreds of dollars or whatever you're spending on all these different supplements, my aim is that I can maybe get you to save a little bit of money, because a lot of the supplements you're taking probably aren't doing you that much good, I'm not saying they're doing you any harm. They're probably not doing any harm, but it's like, you may as well be like just drinking like juice, like fruit juice or something, because it's not much difference. So when I actually figured out what supplements were making a difference, in the concoction of things I was taking, and realized the things and started to eliminate the things that weren't making a difference, I was saving like hundreds of pounds a month, and I started seeing better results because I started educating myself on what actually worked, and then I could focus on my energy and my attention and my money and my time on the stuff that worked, and I could eliminate the stuff that didn't. And so I started seeing better results, and like, I'm not gonna like say like, oh, finding the right supplement transformed my physique, because it's a supplement at the end of the day. Like, it's not a magic bean. Like a lot of people try and think they are. It's like, it's not a pot of magic beans. It's a supplement. It can be useful, it can be valuable, but it doesn't do the work for you. So I want to get that across like quite clearly in this podcast. So the first thing I want to kind of say before I dive, there's two things I want to say before I dive into the meat of this podcast, which is going to be my top 3 supplements. And the first thing is that supplements aren't your diet. So I kind of alluded to that a minute ago. Like the in terms of nutrition, what's going to help you is the food that you're eating. So if you're not on the right diet, if you're not eating the right foods, you can't make up for that by trying to plaster over the cracks by buying different supplements. That's not going to work for you. You can't make up for a bad diet with supplements, and you can't replace your diet with supplements either. So don't be tempted by any of these multi-level marketing campaign things or whatever that are going out there and trying to get you to replace your entire diet with shakes, which I don't think anybody listening to this podcast will be, because it's more of like a weight loss thing than a muscle building thing. But nonetheless, no matter what, there's no replacement for real food. Now, there's a time and a place to replace a meal with a shake if and I spoke about that on the podcast before. If you don't have the time to sit down and eat a meal properly, then that might be the time to have a protein shake instead, because it's easy to digest. But that's for a very specific reason. If all things are equal and you've got the time, why would you replace real food with supplements? It wouldn't make any sense. So supplements are just that. They supplement your diet. Do not rely on them for your muscle building goals. Just make sure that you have got, they're in my mind, the 95% of the work, or the 90 to 95% of the work comes through your training and your diet and your recovery methods and all that stuff. Your supplements are like the sprinkles on top, they're like the cherry on top of the cake. They like give you that extra 5 to 10% that you might not be able to find without. But they're not going to do the work for you, and you can still build a hell of a physique without them, but they're just going to help you take yourself to the next level. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say before I dive in is the best supplement that you can take, and this is not, I'm not going to like add this as one of my 3, because this would be the most unsexy thing ever, right? As one of the top 3, but the best supplement that you can take, regardless of anything else that I talk about in terms of my top 3, is the one that you're deficient in, right? So if you are deficient in a certain vitamin or mineral or a certain micronutrient, that is the top priority for you to supplement with. Now, again, I would recommend try and get that from food first or from the environment. For example, if you're deficient in vitamin D, then increasing your exposure to sunlight would be a good place to start to improve that. The next thing to do would be improve your, maybe eat more eggs or eat more things that are rich in vitamin D. And then the final thing to do would be to start supplementing with vitamin D supplements, which I'm not against, and I have some myself. I'm not taking any at the minute because my diet's quite good for vitamin D, and it's quite sunny at the minute. We're coming into summer, so I'm outside all the time. I'm getting more than enough vitamin D. And I know the next thing you're going to be thinking is, well, how do I know what I'm deficient in? Well, you get a blood test. So again, I'm not an affiliate of any online blood test company or anything like that, but I'm sure if you looked online and you put some research into it, you could find a good blood test service where you could get your blood tested and see what you are deficient in. And if you are deficient in a certain vitamin, mineral, micronutrient, then go and supplement with that, or try and get it through your diet. So another example would be if you're deficient in iron, for example. If you're deficient in iron, then first of all, liver is a fantastic source of iron. I think it's a fantastic source of a lot of things like vitamin A and things like that. But adding in some liver would be a great thing for your diet to start upping your iron. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on it, but I think things like spinach and things like that are quite high in iron, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But there's a lot of different foods that are really high in iron. But you could also supplement iron, So that's the kind of way that I like to go down with supplements. That's my first thing that I address with clients is, if you're really interested in that kind of thing, get a blood test. Especially if you're experiencing like some kind of fatigue or some kind of adverse symptom right now that's affecting your training or affecting your muscle building goals, then a good place to start, so you're not stabbing in the dark on how to fix it, is to get your blood tested, and then you can figure out if there's any deficiency and where you need to address with your diet. A lot of that can be fixed just by eating well, getting sleep, moving, getting exposure to sunlight, getting contact with the earth every day, and just generally being a good functional human. But supplements and addressing the actual data of deficiencies is a great thing to do on top of that, in my opinion. So that's all the sort of preamble, So I kind of wanted to make a real point of all of that stuff before I dive in, because just diving right in and just being like, these are my top 3 supplements, it's like, it kind of gives the impression that I'm saying that these are magic beans, these are magic powders, if you take these you don't have to do any work. That's not what I'm saying at all, but these are the top 3 supplements that I've noticed can make life a little bit easier and give you that edge when it comes to muscle building. So I'm going to dive in now. So I'm going to go in reverse order. So I'm going to tell you the 3rd place, the 2nd place, and my top supplement then at the end for building muscle. So the 3rd place supplement that I've got on here is one that, it's not anything particularly profound or sexy, but it's just whey protein. It's literally just whey protein. And the reason is that this is a fast digesting source of protein. It's really easy on the digestive system. You can get decent flavors of it, and there's not really that many adverse effects from it as far as I'm aware. And like I mentioned earlier, you can, if you are a busy kind of person who's bobbing from A to B all the time and you don't have time to sit down and eat during the day, then a whey protein shake with, some sort of fruit or honey or nuts or whatever you're pairing it with is and can be a really, really good replacement for a meal. Not that you should be replacing meals with that on the regular basis, but if you haven't got the time to sit down and properly digest a meal, a whey protein shake is a really good idea. Now, if you have some sort of intolerance to whey protein or dairy as a whole or whatever, then a beef protein shake is probably my next go-to. And sometimes it's nice to just alternate between them 2 types of protein, just to keep a bit of diversity in the gut microbiome and stuff like that. So whey protein or beef protein is an alternative. It's my 3rd place supplement, and that's not the most sexy one. It's not the most out there one, but but that's because it's a fundamental, and it's a fundamental for a reason. It's because it works, So, as a post-workout shake, or as a shake where you don't have time to sit down and properly digest a meal, whey protein or a beef protein is a really good form of partially already broken down food, basically protein. So that's my third place supplement. Our second place supplement, to dive into the next one. Our second place supplement, I've given you two alternatives for this one, so I've kind of combined two into one here. But the second place supplement I've got might be a little bit more left field, and this is ashwagandha or magnesium glycinate. So I'll say them again because it might be something that's not quite familiar to you. Ashwagandha or magnesium glycinate. They are two separate supplements, but I'm putting them at equal levels on the second place here. Now, the main benefit that you're going to get with these two is these are going to be calming agents for the nervous system. So I would always take these either as soon as or in the hour, not being anal about it, just whenever I get chance after my workout. Because during the workout, like again, we spoke about this loads on the podcast, during the workout, you're firing up the fight or flight nervous system, you're firing up the sympathetic nervous system, and you're getting into a high stress state. And you need to do, you should be concerned with doing as much as possible as soon as you finish your workout, start calming that nervous system down so that you can enter into the rest and digest state. You can digest food better. You can start the recovery process. Because if you don't start the recovery process and you don't get into a state of recovery, you aren't going to build muscle, and the training session you've just done has just been a gigantic waste of time, and it's actually going to be harmful rather than helpful. So the supplements that I would use to help that process along, and again, the supplements aren't the main thing I would do to help that process along. You can go and check out the previous podcasts where I've spoken in detail about my processes about post-workout calming of the nervous system. But the supplements that I would use to help that process along would be ashwagandha and magnesium glycinate, and they are the two go-tos that I have. But again, I use them probably alongside meditation. I use them alongside walks in nature. I use them alongside stretching and mobility routines, or sometimes a 20-minute yoga session or something, or whatever it is, just something to help calm down. Change the music you're listening to a slower paced, relaxed music, not depressing, not depressing, but just something a little bit more slower paced, rather than your heavy metal rap or rave or whatever trance you're listening to. I don't know whatever you're into, but just something that's going to just relax you and calm your nervous system down to allow you to enter into that parasympathetic state. So that's the first two. The third place, protein. The second place, the ashwagandha and magnesium glycinate. And the first place, so the most important supplement that I would take, and again, I hesitate to use the word important and supplement together because there's no vital supplement. You can do all of this stuff without supplements. But the most important supplement that I would consider in my arsenal is the essential amino acids, or EAAs. Now, essential amino acids, amino acids in general are like the building blocks of protein. So they are what make up protein molecules. So, whey protein and stuff like that, they are made up of amino acids. And the essential amino acids are the 9 amino acids in total that cannot be made or synthesized by the body itself. They have to come from the outside world. So they have to come from your diet, basically, or supplementation. So if we didn't get a regular serving of the 9 essential amino acids, things would start to go wrong pretty quickly for us, because they are essential by nature, by name. They're essential, and we need to take them in from the outside world. So the 9 essential amino acids, I'm not going to list them. To be honest, I can't remember them off the top of my head because there's 9 of them. But the 9 essential amino acids are a much better alternative, in my opinion, to the much more common branched chain amino acids that most people take, that I used to take for many, many years. The branched chain amino acids, there's nothing necessarily wrong with them, but there are only 3. And, they're leaving, I'm not 100% sure whether they are, 3 of them are of the 9 essential amino acids. I think there might be, but even if they are, you're leaving 6 on the table there, 6 essential amino acids that you're not synthesizing, and so by drinking your essential amino acids during training, what you're doing then is you're starting to kickstart the recovery process. So what I do is I start drinking my essential amino acids maybe 15 to 20 minutes into training. So I might have an hour left of my training session. And because of the time it takes to go through the digestive system and enter into the bloodstream, then the essential amino acids are going to start entering into cells about the time I'm finishing my workout. So the effect that has is that as soon as I'm finished my workout, my recovery process is starting straight away because my essential amino acids are then going straight into my cells, because they've worked their way through the digestive system, through the bloodstream, all the hormonal signaling has gone on, and all the stuff's happened inside the body, and things are starting to take place at the right time, because it's important to remember that, we don't absorb things into cells 3 seconds after we put them in our mouth. There's a whole digestive system and a whole digestive process that has to happen before things can actually start going into cells. So by drinking the essential amino acids during training, things are going to start kickstarting the recovery with a bit of a delayed effect when you're finishing training, and you're gonna be have a little bit of an advantage straight away because you're gonna end up kickstarting that recovery process and kickstarting that growth process. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole top three. So I'll recap them real quick again. So the third place was whey protein or beef as an alternative. The second place was ashwagandha or magnesium glycinate as a calming agent for the nervous system post-workout. And the first place was essential amino acids for intra-workout, for during your training window. Now, again, I'll just recap what I said at the start there. Supplements aren't your diet. Make sure you don't rely on them. And the best supplement to take is the one you're deficient in, and you can find how you're deficient in by getting a blood test. But as a general rule of thumb, guys, I hope that was useful. I hope that gave you some insight into a little bit more around the supplement industry as a whole, and a little bit more around what kind of supplements are worthwhile. I'm not going to go massively into the supplements that are a waste of time and money. I'm not going to start calling supplement companies out or anything like that. But if I've not mentioned a supplement on this podcast, you can probably see that I don't value it that highly. Maybe save your money, and maybe if you just focusing on taking 2 or 3 supplements right now because you budgeting or whatever's going on, then the 3 that I've mentioned are a good place to start. So I hope that made sense. I hope that was valuable and useful for you guys. If you want to get started on your training and you want a 6-week workout plan to get you started, then you can head to www.musclebuildingmastery.net and you can get a progressive beginners to advanced 6-week workout program called 6 Weeks to Mass. And like I mentioned on the last episode, I'm also working really hard right now on the 6 Weeks to Mass challenge, which is going to be an awesome challenge that I'm going to give a group of people to help them along personally, to make sure that they really achieve the goal of muscle building and putting some serious mass on in the next 6 weeks. So as soon as that's ready, you'll be the first to know. And I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. So I hope that was useful. Don't forget to share this with a friend if you think anybody would find it valuable. And don't forget to subscribe, leave me a review, and let me know what you think. And I'll speak to you on the next episode of the Muscle Building Mastery podcast. If you're ready to stop wasting time in the gym and start mastering the skill of muscle building, go check out www.musclebuildingmastery.net to download your free 6-week muscle building workout plan. I have specifically formulated this workout plan to take you through the 3 stages of mastering your body, layering on a more advanced training methodology each week as you progress. That means that regardless of where you are with your training right now, this plan will push you forward and help you stack on more muscle and strength in just 6 weeks. So head to www.musclebuildingmastery.net now to grab your free 6-week workout plan.